forgive him, but he has to come to me. He has to repent. He has to show he wants my forgiveness. So Moses comes back to me and tells that. And I said, see? God doesn't want me back. I said, well, yeah, he kind of does. I mean, if you show repentance and, well, yeah, I suppose, except the problem is that God put me in this situation to begin with. I'm here as his creation. Remember, God created evil. I am just the image of evil. I'm just the representation of evil. God created it. He needed that distinction for his perverted experiment. But, so there's nothing for me to forgive. I am just a product of his creation. So I accept. So I don't get the idea of forgiveness from God. He doesn't want me to, he needs me to be in this position. Because otherwise the experiment would fall apart. For whatever it is he's trying to do. And believe me, I know God better than anybody, and I do not know what he's doing. I don't know why he bothered to create human beings. I mean, I really don't. I mean, they are the most asinine beings in the universe. Oh my God. I mean, that was obviously his first attempt. There are so many way cooler beings around the universe. They get it a little better. Well, whatever. He's still sticking with this lame-ass planet here and the people that are on it, who are just murdering and killing each other and just making everybody's lives so miserable. In spite of the fact that, Jesus and Muhammad and others, try to share a higher sense of spirit. It just never happened. I don't know what it would take. I really don't know. I don't know what it would take for human beings. I mean, Jesus gave the formula. Muhammad, he certainly exercised it at a very practical level. Oh my God. He had kingdoms. He had to fight in wars. He really tried to bring a message of peace. He really did. I mean, to even call his own religion Islam, which means peace, I get it. That's what he wanted. That's what he was aspiring to. He thought, yeah, we can do this. We can do what Jesus wanted. He was sort of, he was duplicating Jesus' effort to bring peace on earth. He thought that was possible. He was very practical. He knew what people had to be. He had a behavioral approach, if you will, to the divine. Jesus was more, ephemeral. It was more, spirit-based here. He had a divine sensibility that. But, I don't know, just being love, that wasn't going to work, and just doing behavioral things like praying 5 times a day and always trying to think of God, and just have all of these behavioral activities to help you increase the consciousness of your awareness of God. That was a pretty good approach too. I mean, these guys tried. They tried. They gave it. I mean, it could work. Muhammad's idea could work. It could work. People really have to just behave. Just focus on their behavioral connection to the divine, to God, to Allah. I mean, if they can just keep that on track, and then eventually they'll experience the divine. I mean, Jesus just told people to stop judging and forgive and to love, and he showed by example, but people just didn't get it. And even, Muhammad, his followers, they struggled too. I mean, struggled mightily. I mean, they're faithful, they're good people, but they stick to some fear-based thinking that keeps them away from God, just like Christians. They just cannot help themselves. They cannot stop being judgmental. They cannot stop themselves from condemning other people. All they can just say, see, I'm really good. My behavior is good. Look at it. I'm going to heaven and you're not. Well, that's debatable. You are what you are. It is a far better approach to accept that. Muhammad certainly accepted and said, okay, this is how you can overcome your base nature, your more self-centered nature, your evil nature, if you will. And Jesus tried to do it through love and forgiveness and all these powerful ideals. And either way, they both fell short. And I appreciate people trying, but, you know, you got to purge yourself of all of your fear. In order for either idea to work, it's just, you got to, well, you got to somehow find a way to, yes, accept your human nature, but realize that if you just maintain your human nature, you're never going to rise above, or you're never going to really bring peace on earth. So it's a struggle, and you know, it's not that they didn't know it, but there's not much that can be said. These are the ideas, these are the ones that can work, but if you're going to fall into the habit of thinking yourself better than others because you have the belief system of Muhammad, for example, or you have the belief system of Jesus, for example, or any of the other belief systems, and you just think that only your way is the way, well, then there is no way. Peace and love can exist on earth. I'm sorry to say, but that is the reality of good and evil. Evil is coming from within you. That's just a fact. That's what God created. I am merely this facsimile, this image, this personification of the evil that is within you. But for all the evil you have, you do have goodness. And Jesus clearly said, yes, you have both good and evil. And you need to deal with your evil. Not because it's something awful. It is part of your nature. But you can use that or find a way to accept it, to embrace it, and to develop that energy into something positive, something divine, something loving, and ultimately something peaceful. Peaceful on the level of a global scale. I mean, that's the vision that all people of faith should have, and maybe they do, at least intellectually, but it definitely needs to be part of the soulful nature that's within. You have to cross that over. What is evil has to become good, or at least understood through good terms, and not to just allow evil to persist and grow, even though you might be doing it in the name of God. That's not helping. If you're killing people, if you're harming people, if you're judging people, if you're condemning people, then in the name of God, then you're still evil. And yes, of course, you'll blame me for that, which is fine. That's my job. But if you really want what Jesus and Muhammad wanted, then you got to do better at dealing with that. And again, I don't think you can do it. Believe me, remember, I'm the devil, and it ain't going to happen. But, I mean, if you really call yourself a Christian or a Muslim, then you really should try to tap into the goodness within and stop focusing on condemning others and stop judging others and stop assuming that nobody else could possibly come to the divine. Because quite frankly, neither are you. You're just not making it. Now you might have some kind of personal connection with God, which is perfect. If you can maintain that energy, and then try to tap into some higher level of awareness about your own nature, and you can spread that awareness, or at least acknowledge it in other people, you might have a chance. You might say, geez, we're all flawed. We're all falling short of the glory of the divine. See how I did that? I don't really give God the credit. Whatever it is, he thinks we might like the divine, but he's not really helping us try to figure it out. And he sends a couple brilliant people. Now, he sends them, but a couple people rise up and become aware of what needs to be done. And, well, hey, people are doing the best they can. I mean, I'm forgiving, in the sense that I know what human beings are. But if human beings keep wanting something more, then they're going to have to do more than whatever it is they're doing now. To just continue this bizarre need to condemn everyone else and make everyone's life miserable, and yet still thinking you're a good person. Remember, good and evil was a choice. You either choose a life of good and try to aspire to goodness, or you aspire to evil. I realize your evil is going to work against your goodness and vice versa, but that's what you have. You were created that way to figure out what you want to do. And if you really can't, my sense is, this is why I think evil will win out. My sense is that it takes too much awareness to bring about goodness. But you don't have to do anything to just stay in evil. You don't have to do anything. You just be your, self-centered, needy person that you are, and boom, you're in. You've chosen evil. So there's no real choice of evil. You just are. And then you have the harder part is to choose goodness. Whew! I tell you, the deck is stacked against you. It's definitely stacked in my favor. I don't know what God was thinking, but he did not make this a 50-50 proposition. So, the nature of human beings is evil. However you want to figure that out. But you have to rise above to be considered good. And you have to somehow love your evil side and accept that it's part of your creation, part of the reality of who you are. And you have to love that side just as much as your good side. If you really want goodness to win out, which, wink, wink, I don't think is going to happen, but hey, what do I know? Maybe human beings can figure this out. Maybe. If I were a betting man, if I were a man, well, whatever it is, if I had to lay some kind of stake down, I would definitely bet on the side of evil. Evil is easy. Evil is easy. Yawn, just exist, you're in evil. The real work, the hard work, that's good. That's how to become good. How to rise above that nature, your evil nature. Whew. Now again, I don't know what the ultimate experiment is, but let's face it, in my opinion, it's a failed process. But there's still believers out there who want to believe that goodness will prevail. I'd make a bet, but I don't really need anything, so just know that I feel strongly about my job security, and I'm not sure about the fate of humanity, but it's looking good from the devil's point of view. If I'm wrong, then that means you'll have forgiven me, and I'll appreciate that. Well, good luck in your journey to find goodness and bring about goodness to the earth. It's not an easy task, and I'm not really pulling for you, but I can go either way. But for me, evil prevails. But if goodness wins, hey, I'm free. Thanks, folks. Have a great day. Take care.